political weather in the United Kingdom. Now he's back and ready for another fight. Welcome, Alistair Campbell. Let's hear you state your case.
Have you noticed how the Brexit extremists no longer even argue that Brexit is going to be great for Britain, just that we voted for it and so we have to do it? Well, democracy is a process, not a moment. A country is entitled to change its mind, and I believe Britain is doing so as the costs and chaos of Brexit mount, as the incompetence of the charlatans around Mrs May is exposed, and as the big questions remain unanswered. How I long for Mrs May to stand up and make a speech like this. I voted Remain, but on becoming Prime Minister, I felt duty-bound to deliver the result, to leave. I have tried. But having looked at it every which way, I've concluded it cannot be done without massive damage to our economy, our public services and our standing in the world. So I am revoking Article 50 and asking the country finally to have the debate we failed to have in the referendum. And how about Jeremy Corbyn, who says he believes in following the views of Labour members, actually doing so on Brexit, admitting that if it goes ahead, the chances of his implementing his manifesto promises are zero because the economy will not be up to the task. Saying too, what's becoming clearer by the day, that hard Brexit is a policy of the hard right, for the hard right, by the hard right, who, helped by Mr Putin in Russia and by the lying media oligarchs here, successfully harnessed anger at injustice and inequality and falsely presented themselves as the people to put that right. So come on, Theresa, do what you know is right. Stop the madness. And Jeremy, if you want to be Prime Minister, show real leadership on this and you might just make it. And for all who, like me, think Brexit is a disaster for our kids' future, keep fighting. It is your democratic right and duty.
Well, that's powerful stuff, but Alistair, can Brexit really be reversed?
I think that eventually, as we've had a referendum, it probably has to be another referendum at the end of it at some point. But I just think we're in such chaos. I just feel that this is such a mess that something has to give. If it doesn't, I think the political system is failing.
You're one of the leaders of the Stop Brexit campaign, but isn't your past association with, as a progenitor of New Labour, is that not an impediment to you reaching out to the current Labour leadership?
Well, it might be, and it's like when Tony Blair comes out and there's lots of sort of shoot the messenger. But I think if you believe something, and I often quote, you and Nicola by saying that you have not given up on the idea of Scottish independence because you lost a referendum. I have not started to agree with Farage and Johnson and Gove because we lost the referendum. I actually think, as a father of 3 kids in their 20s, that if this goes ahead as planned, we are ruining our country.
Now, you and I both know that politics is not just about numbers, it's about psychology.
Yeah.
This moment over the last week where the government are struggling to stamp the date of leaving on the face of their Brexit bill, do you think that's an important psychological moment in your campaign?
I do feel that the ground is shifting. They've given up saying this is going to be great. Their only argument is, we voted for it, we have to make it happen. Do people think the government is handling it well or badly? Nobody thinks the government's handling it well. So we're, as a country, having voted for this, the country is now, I think, getting really concerned at the idea that we're putting our future in the hands of these people. I have never seen a more incompetent government, frankly, anywhere in the world, anywhere in Europe, as this one. Theresa May, who's a prisoner of the right, Boris Johnson, who's a proven liar, Michael Gove, who's just all about I don't know what, Liam Fox wandering around the world on his planes, making zero progress on trade, David Davis, who you can tell when David Davis is not confident because he laughs more.
Now, you've been very hard on Boris Johnson and indeed the rest of the cabinet, and I should just say they could be in this chair being hard on you if they wish.
Theresa May, she, in my view, is now the tail is wagging the dog. The right wing of her party is driving her. In Labour, Jeremy Corbyn seems to me to just have given up talking about Brexit. Every event I do now, I start by saying, 4 questions. Are you optimistic or pessimistic about Trump being president? And it's 95 to 100 pessimism. Are you optimistic or pessimistic about Brexit? And I'll tell you what, every audience, I've yet to get any audience of any sort above about 10, 15%, and most are nowhere near that. Do you think Theresa May will be Prime Minister at the next election? And do you have any confidence in Theresa May? It's close to zero. Do you think Jeremy Corbyn will win the next election? It's never above 10%.
In your case, you said that Russia and the media in the UK were cheering on a hard Brexit. But do you think these forces were responsible for the Brexit vote?
I think that Parliament does need to look at that in the way that the American system is looking at Trump's relationship with Russia in his campaign, because there is definitely something has gone on. And I also think that Theresa May is worried about what that might find. So I do hope that goes further. But I think that the role of the media, I mean, honestly, if you pick up the extremist lie machine newspapers, the Mail, the Sun, the Express, the Telegraph, you would think this thing is going absolutely brilliantly, and it's all going well, we're going to get everything we want, and it's a nonsense.
Well, famously, you once got the Sun on side New Labour.
We did.
Can you work that trick again?
I don't think so. I think we've gone beyond. In fact, one of the arguments I used to have with Tony after that is I think that having got into power, I don't think we did enough to, if you like, to curb the excesses of our media. The Mail, those papers on Brexit, they're just an arm of propaganda, nothing else. This idea that democracy and the will of the people, that it stopped on June the 23rd, 2016. That was the will of the people, and it will never change. Well, it will change, and I think it is changing.
I may have used that argument about Scottish independence.
I'm sure you have.
But let's say, for the sake of argument, that you don't win this fight. What do you think the implications are for the remaining nations of these islands? I mean, firstly, for Ireland.
Oh, I was doing RTE radio this morning. I mean, the extent to which Ireland has not even figured, didn't figure in the referendum campaign despite people trying, barely figures in anything that the government says and cares about this. And, you know, one of the things I'm proudest of in terms of the work that Tony Blair did as Prime Minister was the Good Friday Agreement and the peace process. They're putting it at risk. They are putting it at risk. The building the coalition with the DUP, in my view, puts it at risk. So I think the economic and political risks for Ireland are massive. I think for Scotland, I've been surprised actually by two things. I've been surprised that the SNP is not more active on this, because I think Scots, despite the fact that some of your voters were Brexiteers, I think actually Scotland does feel that this is the wrong thing for Scotland and the wrong thing for the UK. So I'd like to see the SNP government much more active on this. But I think for the whole of the UK, this is us, in my view, opting for our own decline.
Many people watching this programme will have voted for Brexit. So what's your message to them?
That they're entitled to change their mind if they think that actually what they thought they were voting for is not being delivered. They were told it was going to be easy. They were told that these trade deals were going to come without any problem. They were told we're going to stay in the single market and the customs union. They were told we were going to get millions and millions and millions and more for the health service. I was speaking at a meeting the other day up near where I live in North London. A doctor from the UCH, University College Hospital, stood up and he said something which I thought was really important. He said, I am seeing the impact of a combination of austerity and the impact on the economy of the fall in the pound. I'm seeing its impact on healthcare. And he said, the people need to understand you can have the NHS or you can have Brexit. You're not going to have both. And of course, the hard right who are pushing this Brexit, they want that. They want a low tax, low regulation, offshore Britain.
And finally, Alistair, can your case win through?
I hope so. I hope so. I think it's going to be very, very difficult. It's very difficult when you've got the government and the opposition party basically saying, well, the people voted, this has to happen. But I think there is enough. People have to stay angry about this. I've never seen such a shambles. It cannot, if this happens and if it goes ahead and if Parliament lets it go ahead, as it's being presented at the moment, we are a country voting for our own decline, and it's the biggest tragedy in our history.
Alistair, for stating your case,
you
get a Quake.
Oh,
now, Iron Brew in the Quake. There are other soft drinks that are available.
I know.
But thank you so much.
I love the fact, Iron Brew, is it right that Scotland is the only country in the world where Coca-Cola is not the best-selling soft drink?
Well, Iron Brew certainly say that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Alistair Campbell.
Thank you.